Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at another interesting deck that I've met both at locals and also on several YouTube channels. And today we're going to take a look at Bellibolt Bolt, as I'm calling it. Obviously it'll just be Iono's Bellibolt W Raging Bolt. That's what it'll be in the title at least, because putting Bellibolt Bolt doesn't really get anything in terms of like traffic or anything for like people wanting to watch videos and stuff. So yeah, that explains the title and everything, but let's get into what this deck is about. So obviously we have covered Raging Bolt before on the channel, and well, you know what this guy does. 70 go burr is all I'll say. We obviously used to play Teal Masks in that, and obviously we did have Sadas, which we still have Sadas, but we do have a different way of charging up this attack. But we will get to that in a moment, when we go to the deck list, of course. Speaking of that, in the description below there's a few timestamps, so if you want to skip ahead straight to the deck list, feel free to do so. Same with the games, feel free to skip ahead to those if you wish. So the main idea is we're using Iono's Bellibolt EX, which can also attack itself for 230 damage, which is not bad. But its ability Electric Streamer, because obviously Iono's I'm assuming a Twitch streamer in that like context. I don't know. I haven't played Scarlet and Violet in a while, and I don't remember if she's like a Twitch streamer or just like a live streamer or whatever. But yeah, Bellibolt is one of her main Pokemon, and obviously this lets us attach a basic energy, lightning energy card from our hand to one of our Iono's Pokemon. Now we don't just play Bellibolt for the Electric Streamer, we do also play it for attacking option if we have to, but a lot of the time we're just putting energy onto the Bellibolt. Then, of course, we do have our own draw engine, which typically Raging Bolt doesn't have. Well, it does in the form of the Teal Masks, but this allows us to attach an electric energy to Kilowattrel, and then we can draw until we have 6 cards in our hand. Not bad, actually, for a draw engine. That's pretty solid. Obviously, we have to put a lightning energy on it, but thanks to Bellibolt's ability, we can do that anyway. And if we've used Bellibolt's attachments anyway, we can always manually attach to this thing if we really want. But a lot of the time we're going to be wanting to use Iono's Bellibolt to attach to this and then discard the energy, draw 6. Well, draw until we have 6. So that's another thing we can do over a standard Raging Bolt list. Otherwise we have the usual attackers like Slither Wing, Baby Raging Bolt. We do play 2 bolts. We only have 4 Sada targets, which I must admit it feels a little bit low, but that's just my take on it. But let's not go any further, let's have a look at that deck list. And welcome to the deck list. So this has been inspired by a few different Bellibolt Bolt lists. Obviously I've took main inspiration from Snipe the Benchers 60, did a lot of the similar cards to him. But there's been a few changes that I've obviously warranted in here. So obviously we've got the 3-2 line of Tadbulb Bellibolt, that's for obviously our energy acceleration. We have the 2-2 line of Kilowattrel, which can even serve as a single prize because it can do 70 damage, but I don't think we're going to be doing that. If we do end up using it, you can say that I've eaten my words, but anyway. Then, of course, we'll play 2 Raging Bolt. No need to talk about this guy. Same with Squawkabilly. I've played enough of these cards in decks to know what he's on about. Then we have Raging Bolt, which, of course, we featured in the Raging Bolt videos that have obviously happened. Slither Wing, another solid card. I love this card for dealing with Joltic Box, and that's why it's here. One of the main changes I put in immediately was a Latias. I feel just having basic retreat in general, because we play a lot of basics, does just help this list a lot more. Obviously, Bellibolt can get trapped, same with Kilowattrel, but Kilowattrel only has a 1 retreat, this has a 2, and this can attach to itself and even attack if we have to. So I'm not particularly worried about the Latias not pulling as much weight as it should. But having a Latias in this list just felt like a no-brainer. Then, of course, we have a Fez, as per standard, 4 Sadas, 2 Ionos, a Professor Turo scenario. One of the many lists that I've looked at plays 2 boss. I'm only playing 1 because there's a counter catcher and a prime catcher. I don't want to have too much gust because obviously we're trying to take out the active most of the time anyway. Prime catcher is good for taking out stuff with Slither Wing and also Baby Raging Bolt if we want to trap something and then snipe. So that's the reason for that. Then we have 4 Nest Ball, 3 Ultra Ball, 3 Buddy Poffin for our Tadbulb and Wattrels, 3 Earthen Vessel for getting energy into our hand, 2 Energy Switch, so this lets us move energy off the Bellibolt to attach to the Raging Bolt if we whiff an energy attachment to it. If it's already got a fighting energy, that is. We can also move energy off the Raging Bolt and attack with the Bellibolt, and also attack with the Raging Bolt, the baby one up here, a lot easier. So I'm playing 2 copies of that. Most lists are only playing 1, but I think having the 2 just makes a bit more sense for what we're going for here. Then we have Night Stretcher. We can play 2 copies of this. It's just general recovery in general. Then we have 2 superior energy retrievals, so we can recover for our Bellibolt. 1 counter catcher, 1 prime catcher, 1 power pad. Bravery Charm, more for the Raging Bolt, but also Squawk in some matchups, because obviously this is very vulnerable to Dragapult. 2 copies of Lavencia, which lets us put 2 basic lightning energy cards from our discard pile into our hand. Obviously the opponent can use this as well, but there's not a lot of lightning decks running around, so most of the time the only person who's going to be using this is probably a Goldengo player. Unless it's some Joltik box player, I guess, but a lot of the time they play Heavy Baton anyway. Then another thing I've done is I've gone up to 7 lightning, 3 fighting. Obviously 3 fighting is pretty standard, but 7 lightning seems to be what most can agree on. The original list I looked at was playing 6, I've upped it to 7. But yeah, that is the 60. It's a very interesting list, I will say. It's one of those that, you know, it has the legs to do a lot, but at the same time it's, you know, it's not meta, but it's another way to play an interesting deck like Raging Bolt. And obviously this involves a lot more strategy and everything, so I'm looking forward to trying this. So, let's get in the game and see how we do. And welcome to the first game. We've actually been down paired into a Snom rank player. My sister loves Snom. If you ever want to, like, you know, get along well with my sister, just give her a card that has Snom on it, and she will love you for it, trust me. Like, Snom is... Like, I don't mind Snom. I don't think it's that cute, but this is my sister we're on about. We're actually going to go first. I want to see how this deck goes going first, because a lot of the videos, they want to go second. I want to see how it does going first. Okay, that's a pretty good start. I'm going to start the Squawk. And we'll put down the Tadbulb as well. That looks like Christmas sleeves, so let's see if he's bringing me joy and presents, or if they're bringing me sadness because it's probably freaking Dragapult. I'd probably say the hardest matchup for this deck would probably be Dragapult. It depends. But, because obviously we play 60 HP basics. Okay, no, it is Archaladon. I will take going first against that. So let's immediately Ultra Ball away that Squawk, and we'll get rid of Fez. And we will grab ourselves... I think we just grab a Bolt here. We don't need the Wattrel. Let's have a quick look at prizes. So we prized a Wattrel. We prized a Bellibolt. What else? Not prized a Sada. We prized a couple of Nest Ball, though. Like, we prized 2. In fact, no, I think we prized 3. That's insane, but that's okay. We can live with that. And then we will Squawk and Seize. Get rid of all those useless cards, and there we go. Then we can play a Buddy Poffin, get a Tadbulb and a Wattrel. Because obviously if this guy gets knocked out, we kind of just lose that. So then I'll Bravery Charm you, Earthen Vessel away a Bolt, grab a Lightning and a Fighting. We've also prized a Fighting Energy. I can then attach to the Raging Bolt and pass the turn. Not a bad start at all. I will take that start. And then we have an Iono in hand for resetting our hand and going from there. Okay, energy attachment onto the Duraludon. If you've got nothing, mate, this is not going to end well for you, is all I'm going to say. Get rid of an Archaladon. Well, unless you're going to hammer in for 30, I don't think you're going to be doing a whole lot here, friend. So, you might want to, you know... Oh, there we go, there's an Ultra Ball. Get rid of 2 metal, I'm assuming. Probably grab another Dura. And now, obviously, with Duraludon, it does 220, but they normally play a copy of Team Rocket's Venture Bomb to try and increase that. So, yeah, we got to be considerate of that. But let's see what he grabs. Another Duraludon, yeah, as expected. We could prime catch KO that with Raging Bolt anyway, so not a big deal. I'm not bothered about this one having a metal energy on it. Matter of fact, I don't care about it. You can Gust and KO Squawk. we can then respond with Raging Bolt. So I'm not really bothered. Let's see if he has anything else for us, or is he going to pass the turn there? There's Carmine. 2 Archaladon in the bin. But, like I say, they play normally like 4 jamming... Well, not 4 jamming turrets, because it just came up. They normally play like 4 Night Stretcher anyway, so I'm not hugely worried. Monkey Dory's not going to help him in this matchup at all, so that's fine with me. Bellibolt's also pretty tanky for a stage 1, so we can rely on that. He's taking a while to make his moves. Duraludon does not, like, Archaladon doesn't have that many moves, you know. But, I don't know. Slow players, I guess. There's a Squawk. I guess he was debating putting that down, which is understandable. Earthen Vessel, getting rid of the metal. Grabbing more metals. That's a nice, easy gust target. Obviously, we would need a Bellibolt plus another energy in order to do that. But still, we'll see what happens, because he is taking a bit of time, but I'm patient enough. I'm just observing it in general. Nest Ball Relicanth. That's not going to help you in this matchup, my friend. Because I ain't gonna muck around with this. I'm just gonna gust this, KO it, and then start one-shotting your Duraludons or your Archaladons. Okay, sure. Assert dominance, I guess. Right, let's carry on. So, we get an energy. That's fine. So, we're going to attach to the Raging Bolt. Prime catching the Squawk. We can't kill it yet, but we have the Iono to reset our hand and maybe draw into a Bellibolt. We did not draw into a Bellibolt. That is really unfortunate. So, let's play a Nest Ball. That's kind of awkward now. Because we don't play any, like, bench attacker other than the Baby Bolt, so maybe we can bench that to, like, finish up the Squawk later as a single prize option. Yeah, we'll just Bellowing Thunder for 140. That's quite disappointing, but that's what happens when you whiff your only Bellibolt, unfortunately. That's one thing I've noticed about this variant, is it can be a little bit slower than a normal Bolt. So it's definitely not, like, meta, but it's another way to play Bolt, so I guess for Raging Bolt enjoyers, it's something. So he's already down 1 Night Stretcher, but obviously you can easily get another. And also we can just Sada attach to this and then Thunderburst Storm knock out the Squawk, so it's not the end of the world. There's a Night Stretcher. Grab an Archaladon and evolve it here. Now, does he have the Team Rocket's Venture Bomb is my question. He's committed his turn attachment here, so he can't attach to Monkey Dory and get a knockout on the Bolt. But let's see what happens. So there's the 2 energy. Does he have the Venture Bomb? And even then it has to go in his favour. Because I think, if I remember rightly, Venture Bomb is, if it's Tails, he does 2 damage to his active. So it's actually a risk. Okay. No, I see the line here. I see the line. I actually do see the line here. That makes complete sense. Okay, it's not a bad idea from the opponent, to be honest, because he sets up his second Duraludon, he gets Raging Bolt into range. So yeah, I actually agree with that move. So, we only have 2 targets, but that's okay. So we'll put the Fighting here and the Lightning here. Draw 3. Then we can Power Pad back the Iono and the Sada. We can then Ultra Ball, Slither Wing, and Professor Turo. Grab our Bellibolt finally. Evolve into the Bellibolt. Then manually attach to the Raging Bolt. And then Bellowing Thunder, because we can't bounce the stadium, unfortunately. We can just get rid of the... Well, in fact, in case he gusts something, I'd rather have the Fighting in the discard. So we'll just do that and take 2 prizes. That's fine with me. Double Nest Ball out the prizes, that is clutch. We've been really struggling to get basics down that we've wanted. And obviously with Ultra Balls not being found, it's been a bit of a tricky one, to say the least. Obviously, this is where Archelodon can negate our Bravery Charm, but I can live with that. Let's grab back another Archelodon. He's got energy in there, we know that. So there's that. There's the Archelodon. Assemble Alloy. Like I say, this is a very interesting matchup, because like this in theory should be quite favoured for us, but because of the jamming tower and you know it can be a bit awkward. You know it's not a guaranteed win matchup. Why are you putting 4 on the Archelodon? You don't need to. Just attach 1. Hops Wooloo, so he's hoping to gust this later. Okay. Makes sense. Let's see. So we'll lose the Raging Bolt, but that's okay. I'll promote probably the Squawk. In fact, no, the Wattrel, because then we can potentially retreat it with Buddy-Buddy. So let's see. Jamming Tower's really coming clutch for the opponent here. It's interesting he's playing this, because this is not seen in Archelodon anymore. Okay, there's a Buddy Poffin. That's fine. Let's Nest Ball. Oh, a Fez's prize. Fuck. Okay. We've also only got 1 Bolt, so that's also another tough one. In fact, no, did we get rid of a Bolt at the start? Yeah, we did. I thought we did. Okay. I don't really want to put Latias down, but it's okay. Do I want to fail this other Nest Ball? We'll definitely fail the Poffin, because we don't need that. So we'll Sada for 1. To the Bolt. There's Lavencia, so we can bump that Stadium. We can then get an energy back. Electric Streamer to the Wattrel to get our retreat in. That was weird then. We can then retreat into the Raging Bolt, I guess. I mean, if he finds that, we're basically dead, so... Yeah, this is not looking good for us. And then we'll just Thunderburst Storm and hit the active. It's not a great turn, and to be honest, it's not looking good. You can now see why I was proposing to put 3 bolts, like big bolts in. Kind of wishing I did now. Because obviously most of them are only playing 2. I'm just going to hope he doesn't have Gust for this Squawk or finds his dog wall. There's another jamming tower. So this is very heavy on the disruption, this deck is. And obviously we've got a Fez in the... In fact, no, Fez is in here, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know why I said Fez was in the prize cards. And there's the boss. Yeah, we can't come back from this, unfortunately. You can just Gust, KO, Squawk, and... yeah, this is not looking good, Chief. We're gonna fight on. We're not giving up without a fight. So let's see what we can do. We're not going down without a fight, that's for sure. There's Kilowattrel. That's a pretty good draw, actually. So we can Superior for 1. Get that energy back. Electric Streamer to the Kilowattrel. And then Flashing Draw. Okay, that's good, but we're still missing a piece. We need Energy Switch off of that Iono. So let's grab Night Stretcher. Then again, would it not make more sense to grab a Bolt? Because I'm tempted to grab Fez, but I think I'm just going to grab the Bolt to play it safe. So bench a Raging Bolt. We can then attach to the Bolt. Put down Latias, and then Iono. I don't think we're going to win this match. Okay, there's the Energy Switch. But we're 1 short, I think, on Archelodon. Yeah, we are. Let's do it anyway. We might as well try it. Because we can always promote the baby Raging Bolt and just attack with it. Like, we can Thunderburst Storm the Archelodon. This is really bad. I thought this was going to be quite a comfortable matchup, but because we've had awkward prizing and not many ancient targets. It's been very tricky for us. If he has Gus for the Latias, we lose. So I'm hoping he doesn't. Oh yeah, I forgot about Raging Hammer. I'm a jackass. I forgot about that attack, but never mind. That is not a fun matchup, is all I'll say. It's very, very tough for us. So let's go on to game 2 and see if we can redeem ourselves. See you in a moment. Come back. That was not a great matchup for us, I must admit. Very, very poor matchup is all I'll say. Yeah, with that jamming tower being like, that was a heavy disruption list for we'll still go first. That was a heavy disruption list. I don't normally see 2 jamming tower, but I mean, he played it pretty well, so gotta give him credit where it's due. So that's a good start. We get to Squawk. Obviously, we do play 2, but, you know. Let's see what we can do. We've got a Buddy Poffin start as well. So we can attach to the Squawk to get a free retreat next turn. Buddy Poffin, and then Squawk. That sounds good to me. Tilmask and Fanrosum. I smell Bolt. Nest Ball. We'll grab ourselves a Bolt. What we prize then? So let's go back to the beginning. So we've not prized any of our basics. We've not prized any of our evolutions either. We've prized 1 Nest Ball. We've prized 1 light... No, not 1 light energy. We prized a fighting energy though, so the prizes don't look too bad. Then we'll play Buddy Poffin, grab ourselves a Tadbulb and a Wattrel. Attach to the Squawk, so we can have a free retreat next turn, and Squawk and Seize. That is excellent. That is absolutely brilliant. So we can get down a second Tadbulb in case that gets gusted. And I think we just pass. Not a bad start at all. That was really, really good, is all I'll say. Obviously, the only downside now is we have no energy in hand to use the Kilowattrel. But we'll see what we get. Because we can at least evolve into Bellibolts and go from there. There's Fancall. I'm smelling Bolt, but this could also be Ogre Box. Well, Ogre Box. More like it's technically Terror Box. I liked playing Terror Box back when Shaman wasn't around. It's kind of just fell off, I'll be brutally honest. It's one of those sorts of cards. 2 Hoot Hoots and a Noct. It's a day that ends in Y. We could even use Motivate, because like we have an energy in there. We can just put it on the Kilowattrel. He has no stadium, so he can't attack. That's at least something. There's an Iono, so that's pretty good. So we can go Evolve, 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 Nest Ball for another Bolt. Or in fact, no, we actually want a Baby Bolt. So let's go for the Baby Bolt. Then Iono. Disrupt that hand. 2 Lightning Energy, which is good. And an Energy Switch. Now, we don't have a Fighting Energy. That's about the only bad thing about this. So, let's Electric Streamer. Oh, actually, hold on. What's our hand? No, I was going to say we could be funny and attack with a Kilowattrel, take out the Fanrotom, but still, let's just attach these to here. We can then Energy Switch one of them just to thin a card. And then we just Motivate for 20. And we will put the energy on the Baby Bolt. So now that means we only need 1 energy on the Baby Bolt to actually KO this Fanrotom. So technically, that's not a bad thing, because we can find our fighting energies. So let's see what we can do. And more importantly, what my opponent can do. And yes, it is Bolt. So let's see. And there's a Teal Dance. Now, he has no energy in his discard pile, so he's going to need Earthen Vessel plus a Sada off of this Noctowl. It's a shame we couldn't stop him from getting a Noctowl, but they play 3-3 line, so there's only so much you can do. There's a Nest Ball for a Latias. all I'll say is the bolt on the other side, this setup is so much more consistent. So there's the double energy attachment to the bolt. You can now free retreat and start taking prizes. So our best line here is draw for turn and see what we can get off of the Iono, because I want to hand disrupt him, but also take out this bolt, which is asking for quite a bit. Wait, what? You didn't knock out my Squawk? What? That is a huge throw on the opponent. Okay, well, I'm gonna take advantage of that. Why would he not do that? Okay, so that doesn't save it from a fan roam attack. That's fine. We'll Earthen Vessel away the Tadbulb. Grab 2 lightning energies. So I'm going to attach the Bravery Charm to our Raging Bolt, make it a bit more thicker for him. So then we can go Electric Streamer. Attach here and attach to the Kilowattrel. We can then retreat Squawk into Raging Bolt. We can then Flashing Draw, drawing 3. There's Lavencia, that is amazing. We can bump his Stadium, use the Lavencia to get back 2 lightnings. And then we can Electric Streamer again. Attach 1 to Bellibolt and 1 to Kilowattrel in case we get hand disrupted. And yeah, let's go for the Bellow of Thunder. That is an insane turn. 1, we can go 2, 3, 4. That was an insane turn. And down goes the Bolt. We even up the prize race. Well, I say even up. He didn't take 2 prizes there for some reason. I promise you this is not a paid actor, before anyone thinks that. I know I said that in the last one. Well, in the last episode, which was the United Wings. But I can assure you this is not a paid actor. He only has 1 Sada target now, so let's see what he can do with it. He could potentially get the response KO, but he needs 5. There goes our Stadium. Now he only needs 4. Teal Dance. Draw 1. That's fine. There's the fighting energy, so he has knockout. So he only needs 4 now. He needs to take 3 off of this and then 1 off of this, or 2 off this, 2 off this. That's unfortunate, but we can live with that. What we can also do is we can promote the Kilowattrel, use its Flashing Draw if we have to. Like I say, I really think he misplayed by not doing that. But I don't know. So there's 2 prizes for him. Let's promote the Kilowattrel. And draw for turn. Not bad. Superior Energy Retrieval, get rid of Buddy-Buddy Poffin and the Squawk. I'm going to take 3 energy because then we can use these 2 to retreat. So, we can then Ultra Ball away the Kilowattrel and the Fez. Grab ourselves another Bolt. Then we can Electric Streamer. 1, 2. We don't want to put 3 on because we need 1 for the Bolt. Then we can Sada. Put the fighting here, the lightning here. And draw in 3. Excellent. That's good. So we're going to attach to the Raging Bolt. Retreat into my Raging Bolt. Earthen Vessel away the Wattrel. Grab these 2. And then, same again, Electric Streamer to the Kilowattrel. We're not going to use Kilowattrel now. We're simply going to attack with Raging Bolt. So I suspect my Bolt's going to go down, so I'm going to get rid of the 2 off of it. And we'll discard 4 for the knockout. Like I say, he would be ahead on the prize race if he'd have just done the knockout on the Squawk. I don't know why he didn't. There's Boss and Slither Wing. So if he doesn't do anything, we have game with Bellibolt. We also have game with Bolt, because we can also just blow up anything in the active, but you can just leave a single prizer. So in an ideal world, I would want to boss either the Fez or the Teal Mascogapon and kill it with Bellibolt. But obviously we would need to get this thing out the active first, or at least wait for it to go down. This has actually gone much better than I thought it would. Like, Archelodon I didn't think was going to be rough, and this I thought was going to be rough, but apparently not. Let's see what our opponent can do. That was very good, well-executed turns. And like I say, we've got the Kilowattrel as a anti-Iono buffer. So, let's see. Ultra Ball, probably for a Noctowl. Yep, there's the Noctowl. Now, Bolt lists only play like one Iono, so I'm expecting an Iono here. An Iono to 2. But that's why we put the Kilowattrel there. Let's see what he grabs. I'm expecting an Iono to like try and stop me from attacking. But at the same time, I'm also not, because he needs Area 0 plus a Nest Ball, or that. So he must have Sada in hand then. Okay, let's see. Night Stretcher. Looked like he grabbed back a Bolt. Yes, he did. That's fine. There's a baby Bolt, so he has a bit more Sada draw. And a Hoot Hoot. But does he have enough? That's the question. There's the Sada. He's got 2 lightning energy not accounted for, plus a fighting energy not accounted for. He's probably got the lightning in hand, but even then he's a card short, and I think he might know that. But he does have Fez draw still. So let's see. Choose a new active. He's giving me Fan Rotom. Okay. So, let's see what we can do. There's Earthen Vessels. We can get hard out with that. We can get rid of the Slither Wing. Fail it. I can then attach to the Raging Bolt. How many E-Switch have we used? 1. So we still have 1 in deck. Let's Flashing Draw. Okay, that's not what I wanted to see, but that's fine. We can get these 2 back in deck. That's fine with me, Chief. We'll just Sada, get the value off of that, because then we can just go for a game with the baby Raging Bolt down here, so I'm not really worried. There's Prime, so that is pretty much the end of it, because we can retreat and do that to the Fez. Then retreat the Bellibolt into the Raging Bolt. I'm not going to BM. Let's just get this over and done with. Bellowing Thunder. Discard the 3, and that is game. And there we go. That is a win against Raging Bolt, which I didn't think we was going to beat, I'll be brutally honest. This deck can definitely do quite a bit once you get it set up. It's just getting it set up. It's a bit more hard work than a traditional Bolt list. So, let's go to the outro. Well, let's do the outro more like. What did I think of the deck? I definitely think it is an interesting way to play Raging Bolt. I don't think it's the best way of playing Raging Bolt, though. Standard Raging Bolt with the Tilmask Ogopons, to me, just feels more consistent. Whilst you do have the anti-Iono protection of the Kilowattrel, if you manage to get a lightning energy onto it, I don't think that makes up for its obvious flaws, that it needs a stage 1 to get its engine going. It can't attach to the Bolt, so you still have to go Sada plus attach. Which, to be fair, Boltless do anyway, but like it still needs a stage 1 to like get that damage output going. At least with Tilmask Ogopons, you can split the energies up and obviously have grass type coverage. Lightning type coverage isn't really too relevant right now, so yeah. But I must admit, I've really enjoyed playing the deck. It was not something that I thought I was going to enjoy, but I wanted to give it a go. Anyway, we'll leave it all to it for today. Really hope you enjoyed seeing Bellibolt Bolt in action, and I'll see you all next time.